Welcome to the Flat Track Factory. In the last video, we talked about how to turn around the motorcycle from one track to the next, and some of the techniques that I use to unload with a good solid setup so we're not behind trying to catch up on back work. It worked out pretty well for us. We were able to come home with 2 wins. One of the things that we talked about was the gearing change, and I'll take this opportunity to show you how we do that. I'll just do a continuous take of swapping a wheel and gearing. For those of you that have not seen a knockoff flat track style wheel before, it can be pretty cool. I've noticed that over the years I've forgotten how cool it is. Sometimes people that are new to it see what we're doing and are just blown away with just how quick and slick it is. So I'll show you some of the tools that we use to do it and talk about how I'm doing it as I do it. Stick around. So here's the motorcycle as race with race dirt on there. We'll just say that's authentic rather than lazy. This is a knockoff style wheel by Darrell Racing. Really good stuff. And here is the reason why this is called a knockoff wheel, because the sprocket and disc carrier are held on with a knockoff nut. That's actually, that flange nut there on top of the sprocket is actually a nut threaded on. So that's what's on this side. Then on the other side over here, we have the disc and disc carrier, which is held on with another knockoff nut. The wheel is symmetrical, so you can actually flip the tire around, which is really convenient. Road race guys and motocross guys are blown away when they figure this out. Let's take a look at the tools that we use to disassemble this. So these tools here will do the entire process, including wheelbase change. Obviously, I've got a ratchet with socket and a wrench to pull the axle, and then this is the knockoff wrench, and this dead blow hammer is what we do the knocking with. And then over here is a handmade specialty T-handle to adjust the axle blocks really nicely. Using a wrench is just way too slow. Now we'll go back in time to last week while I was actually doing the work to change the wheel tire combo and change the gearing and maybe adjust the wheelbase. What I fouled up in the process of trying not to foul up the work or look like a dummy on cam, I look like a dummy on cam. The gearing on the bike was what it was going to be at the next track, so I didn't need to adjust the wheelbase, but I'm glad that I tried anyway, because that way you could see how the axle block adjusters, that T-handle, works, and just hear me talk through how to do a gear change, even though it turns out I had to undo it and put it back. But hope you enjoy it. Check it out. Those of you that are curious about timing, you can start now. I will say that it's going to be just a little bit longer than normal because I'm not only changing wheels, but I'm changing gearing. So I'll throw the wheelbase change in there, and I'll just talk about what I'm doing if somebody is actually curious about how this works. So I'll just go ahead and get started. Pull the axle, and I have dedicated wrenches for this. So got the axle loose. All right, so the wheel's out. Tangle up in the microphone here. No idea if this is going to work or not. I'll use my fancy stand here so you can sort of see what I'm doing. Dead blow hammer and the appropriate knockoff wrench. Hopefully I won't knock a bike over and you can sort of see what I'm doing. That was tight. Big single does put a lot of powerful pulses into that and easy to come off. So let's keep that pretty tight. All right, so I'll just put the wheel back together for future use. I guess if I was in a super hurry, this wouldn't part of it. Take off the sprocket. I'm sorry, the disc and carrier. This comes off a little easier because I don't torque it as much. It doesn't have the pulsations through it that tend to loosen up the sprocket. All right, so that's done. Put this wheel away. Grab our other wheel. And I said we're going to go 41, so here's a 41. I did say 41, didn't I? Change a different wrench. Get medieval. Turn around and put the disc and carrier on. Rip my stupid microphone out. This is a Durrell wheel. It has a different, well, it's all different, but specifically the nut's different. That's why it requires a different wrench. It's probably super loud, sorry. Couple good whacks. All right. Now, extra time because I'm doubting myself. Yeah, 41. So I guess there's really not a wheelbase change. I had a 41 for the last track. I lied. All right. I think this generally works better if you put the sprocket on the chain side and the disc on the caliper side. Try to get the disc in without fouling the pucks up, and I did. Lift it up, put your foot underneath the wheel to support it while you get the chain on. And go ahead and get the axle back in. Axle blocks out of the way. Oh. Okay, so yeah, the wheelbase was changed. Making a video and working on bikes at the same time is not really conducive to doing either very well. Okay, so yeah, I knew the wheelbase was going to be different. Then I was making the video and forgot what I already decided. Made the mistake. Got into video mode, not working on the mode, and I got wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust for the tooth difference. I was at a 39 to go to a 41. So wheelbase is going to be substantially shorter with this chain length. So see, can I get away with that? Maybe. We'll see. Let's try it. 2, 3, 4. Let's go. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I got to put a link in it, but we'll just go with it. See what happens. See how this goes when you're not paying attention. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And you're getting to see why I say that. Okay, so now everything should go in a lot easier. Again, lift it up, go forward, put it on your foot, get the chain on the sprocket, get your axle kind of lined up. Had the wheelbase been right, this would have been smooth the first time. Now we're just going to figure out if I got enough extra chain length to get everything to line up. Get the blocks in position. A little easier to do without a microphone cord, but let's make an excuse really. All right, yeah. So it's going to be real short. Wheelbase is real short. Do I want to do that? Makes the bike bitey. I have to get out and measure it. Probably, it's probably a little too bitey, so I'll probably pull a link out. Well, I'll pull the master link out, put a link in, bring the bike back a little bit. Wheelbase back. If I had help at the track, I'd probably leave it for fun, just see how it went, but I think I won't go crazy. This would be a really aggressive thing to do. I've already got the bike ride height high, which is really aggressive. It makes the bike tiring to ride. I haven't been training enough, so kind of stream of consciousness in here. I'm going to go ahead and not run it this short, and I'll pull a link out. So let's make this a little bit longer. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that. Now we got to unmic and stop the video because I got to get out to the rig. I'm really regretting not... Okay, I'm really regretting not getting my wireless mic. This is terrible. So yeah, bonus footage here. Bonus footage to the bonus footage. I'm going to go ahead and not run it super short and aggressive. So I will put another link in it. Went and got an extra link. There we go. And go ahead and run some new masters. You're supposed to run a new master every time. Take it off. I'll admit I don't, but you're supposed to. But after a season of doing that, a little too excessively, I'm going to go ahead and not do that. Go ahead and steal some grease. Go ahead and run an extra link. Pro tip, when you're putting master links right next to each other, put the rear one on first. Otherwise, we'll have enough space to get the clip in the other one. Ask me how I know. Three times the charm. All right, so now we can estimate where we've got to put the wheelbase back to get us back in business. And now that I see that, kind of wondering, it's kind of right in the middle where I'd like it about 5 mil farther forward, but you know, let's not can't always get exactly where you want it. So we're going to deal. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Let's see where we are. Way off. 2, 1. I use the back of this tool to tension the chain. Make sure that I'm not crazy off on my adjustments by miscounting. Chain's pretty straight, so that's good. Get an estimate of where I am on chain tightness. Still way too loose. Go half a turn. Check again. Kind of pull the blocks forward. All right, now we're going to make sure we get any of metal shavings that may come out onto the axle going in and out of the blocks out of here. You do not want that metal caught in the threads when you are tightening your nut. Ask me how I know. Okay, so this pro tip here, I use my T-handle, this custom-made T-handle team owner made for me when I was a kid. I put this here because it fits really nicely into the sprocket to tighten the chain. What does that do? It pulls my blocks all the way forward here. So I make sure that the axle is pulled all the way forward, and you don't want to get it loose because then it'll move later and your chain tends to be off, and then you'll throw a chain and then you'll be mad at the mechanic. In this case, that's me, so it's okay when I have somebody to blame. So what I'm doing now is I'm just tightening up to see where we are on chain tension when the axle is tight. So that's a little loose, but the blocks are all the way forward, so we're good. Loosen it up. Give it a quarter. Back to tightening the nut because tension does change when the axle is loose or tight. It's about pretty good, really. Extremely important to do this. Brakes work a lot better when the pads are touching the rotor and the pucks are forward. Ask me how I know. All right. That's a wheel change, gearing change, wheelbase change, chain length change for you with some running commentary. Hope you got something out of that. As always, thanks for watching.